first time we're doing this webinar, so we're super excited about it. And I think you guys can all hear me because many of you were asking questions earlier on. The question box is below. But Mikey will also be giving you a brief on how to use the system when we go on further. So we wanted to just to share the context of why we're here and what we're going to be doing. And why we're here is we're going to be setting an outline as an agenda. Is we're going to be sharing with you 4 mental roadblocks that stops people from achieving their goals and what they want to be doing. And then we're going to be giving you an intro about methodology that we're using called the Transpire methodology, which many of you who have watched a TED Talk has actually seen it before. And then we're going to be talking about a program that we're running in case you're interested. So just before we go on, I want to share with you more about myself. So my name is Yasmin. I'm half Egyptian, half Singaporean, and I've lived all over the place. I've lived in Singapore to Saudi Arabia to Egypt, as well as now living in Spain. And I'm really, really passionate about working with people. And it started from university when I studied psychology because I was really curious about human behavior and what made people perform better and to do what they wanted to do. Um, and over the past 8 years, I've been working in numerous countries, all over the world, doing business training as well as coaching. And I've also set up the Center for Islamic Finance in Madrid. I've also been a global ambassador for International Alliance of Women, as well as worked in a corporate career in SABIC in corporate communications and HR for Asia Pacific, as well as in an NGO called Isaac. And I'm going to be handing over to Maike, who is my fellow speaker on the call, who'll be sharing with you a bit more about herself and a bit more about her experience.
Hi everybody, I'm Maike. I'm originally from Germany, but now I live in Spain. I've lived a little bit all over the place as well, but not in that many countries. And my background is actually originally in marketing, advertising, and audiovisual media. But my life has kind of taken me on a different route a few years ago, like literally 5 or 6 years ago. And because of personal challenges, I have become a health and wellness coach. So I actually work with women who want to lose weight, want to feel better about themselves, work on their self-esteem, and also reconnect to their inner core. But I also work with women who want to look after themselves when it comes to stress management and who would like to kickstart a project because there's loads of great ideas in the world and sometimes it just needs a little hand in order to kickstart a project and actually follow through. I'm very excited about this program because it is about us. It's about us women wanting to make a change in the world. So we're very delighted that you have signed up for the webinar, and we're very sorry about the few hiccups, but we're going to present you a great package right now with some information about the roadblocks and then some more about the program. So just before we get into the content, we just wanted to give you a little heads up on the technical side. You will see that you have a GoToWebinar control panel, and on the left of that panel, you will actually see a few icons. So one of the icons should be a hand that gives you the option to actually do a hands up. So whenever we ask you some questions or later in the Q&A, that would be one way of communicating with us. Once you've actually clicked on the hands up, the hand kind of disappears, so don't freak. Yasmin can put that back into place once everyone has answered the question. And another way of communicating with us is you will see there is a question, kind of like a chat window. So any questions that you might have, please feel free just to type them in there. If it's technical questions or even content related, it would be great to look into it and to attend to later. So just as a little quick trial, there are a few attendees right now. Can you just try that right now? Is everyone hearing us okay? And if so, could you just do a hands up, everyone? Just a quick one. So again, it's on the, I just repeat, on the GoToWebinar control panel, on the left-hand side, you'll have a few icons, and there should be a tiny hand, maybe with a green arrow, that you can click on, and that gives us a hands up. So we'll just wait for a few minutes, few moments, seconds. If you do have any questions, then just below there's a chat window where you can communicate with us directly.
And just for some of the ladies who are putting their hands up, if you can just keep it up, because some of you, if you double click on it, it goes away. It goes away. Lucy, are you hearing
Okay,
us?
is
Because
everyone
we don't have your hand up either. All right, so I'm not so sure, but for Carolina and for Dina and Elizabeth and for Freddie and Ivana and Nancy. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, it's perfect. You mentioned about the iPad. Perfect. All right. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. So last technical thing I wanted to mention, as we said, it's the first time we're actually using GoToWebinar. So maybe the PowerPoint will be a little bit slow. If that's the case, please do let us know, okay? And we'll try to kind of correct it. So next I'm going to hand over to Yasmin again, who's going to talk us through the Transpiro methodology and the package and the program we're running through.
All right. So as I mentioned, the methodology that we're using is really a process, and as everything else, it's a process that makes the adventure. So initially, how it starts off, it's really becoming clear about what is the purpose that you want to be doing, whether it's a goal, whether it's a dream, or whether it's something that's actually bigger than just for right now. And it's really about being clear on that. And once you're clear, most of the time, for example, I use the example of losing weight. And many clients come and say, "Oh, I want to lose weight," but then after they're not really clear in terms of why. So the more we dig into that, some of them share, well, I want to lose weight for for myself, for my health. I have a history of family conditions that I'm worried about, or I just want to be a better mother or a better, more active person in society. And what they do usually is instead of just like looking at a strategy or building something, what they end up doing is, for example, not eating. And I'm not sure about many of you, but some people just stop eating completely. And what happens is after a couple of days, it doesn't work because you end up in your body's craving that food. So it's really important to move ahead and plan a strategy. And once you have a roadmap in terms of where you're going and how you're going to be doing it, you need to figure out what's missing. What do you have to actually do to fill it in? And then from there, you have to realize that what you are today does not define who you are tomorrow. And that's something really, really crucial. And that's what something like, for example, from my work as well as my case work, it's really about working with somebody to make sure that they're actually realizing what they can and what they cannot do. And also what happens is it's really about an adventure. And it's an adventure because it's going to be a really hard experience, especially if you're looking to make something that's very, very big and also something that's going to change your life. But it's part of the whole fun of it. And the last but not least, what really helps in terms of making sure that your goals have been achieved, and I've done this several and several times over and over again, it's setting up a system where you have people who support you, people who encourage you, people who help you do things and get to places. So we're going to mention a bit about the 4 mental roadblocks that stops you from doing what you want to do. And a lot of the times what happens when it comes to setting the goals is you're not really clear on what it is that you want to achieve. And that usually happens if you have too much on the back of your mind. And I often use the example of a computer screen. And for example, if you have a computer and you have too many programs open, what happens is you have a hiccup. Maybe the computer will shut down, it will become slow. It doesn't become as effective as if you have only one thought. And that's like your brain. If you have too much going around it, it's really hard to get focused. So the first roadblock that I'm going to mention to you is agenda. Um, which I'm going to hand over actually to Mikey to share with you a bit more about it. Mikey?
Yeah, there are a few roadblocks here. We have 4 roadblocks that we're going to talk about. So the first one is agenda. So what does that actually mean? The agenda is something that is a little bit related to your values because it is about what you really want in life. So it actually means like, what do you focus on? When you look at your life, at your objectives, do you focus only on the actions and the immediate outcome? So if that's the case, then maybe you're not acting on your own agenda. Sometimes we're acting out an agenda that doesn't belong to us. For example, society, family, or friends and other people might give us an agenda that we think is the right thing to do. We go to school, we go to college, we get our MBA, we do the whole career path, and even though we earn a lot of money and we kind of have everything we want, there's still something missing, and we feel we're not quite happy. So we're kind of insecure. We don't really know what's going on. And that might have to do with the fact that you're actually not following your own agenda, that you're not connected to your own values, and that you're literally living within your own comfort zone. And that's fine, but that sometimes can actually end up in those weird moments where you think, I'm not really quite sure what life is all about. So the agenda, that thing that blocks you here, is not being in touch with your values. So what can you do to stretch yourself, to be the bigger you? And who are you doing this for? What's really behind all this? So the next block that sometimes comes out when we look at our objectives and what we want to do in life is that we get really stuck on the detail. We best example also is what Yasmin mentioned earlier. You want to lose weight, and you step on that scale every single day and you go like, oh, come on, let's see. And nothing happened, or it goes up and it goes down. It's just like a few grams, every day. So you're so focused on the detail that you get disconnected from what this is actually about. For example, why do you want to lose weight? What's the vision behind it? What's really going on there? So if you were to zoom out of your life into, let's say, into outer space like an astronaut, and look back onto your life, what is the pattern you see? What's the vision? What's the bigger picture behind this objective that you have? So there are two other blocks that we want to talk about, and Yasmin is going to talk about them. So I'm going to hand back over to her.
All right, thank you, Mikey. So the next one we're talking about is filters. And the best way to look at it is sometimes we see things in one light. So, for example, what I find many of the times with my clients is they'll go on and on talking about something, and they'll keep on saying, oh, but I can't do that, or I can't do that. And they don't realize that they put for themselves a filter that doesn't allow them to actually look at their potential and look at what they want to be doing. So, for example, if you feel already that you cannot do something, chances are you probably can't. And it affects how you see things and how you approach the situation. And a lot of the times, people don't even try to look at things because they're saying, oh, yeah, but it's beyond my reach. I cannot do that. And it's this filter that meant like by society, by family, it does not let them look at the way they want to see the world. Um, and the thing about filters is sometimes you have to really understand that your filter and the person beside you's filter is completely different. So, for example, when you tell your friend, oh, I want to do this, and they tell you, no, you can't do that, it's because their filter is affecting how they see the world. So you should be conscious about, how you're doing that. The next thing is really about the hotspots. And this is really important because a lot of the times it's about getting uncomfortable. If you want to have big change, you need to get uncomfortable. And I use the example of my Gone Cycling adventure. And Gone Cycling is a product that I launched a couple of years ago, which is a social enterprise where I ended up cycling 450 kilometers in the really, really bad roads. And it was really uncomfortable and something that I'm used to. But I really wanted to do that, and I really thought at the time of my life I had to do that. So I push and I push, and it really made me uncomfortable. But it did not stop me because I realized that for me, I had to deal with the emotions that was making me not want to do that. I had to realize that I had to be uncomfortable to actually get a big change. And this is really important because when it comes to the process of becoming very clear and sparking your dream, those four roadblocks are huge. Because if, for example, you dream of being the next Oprah or the next um, Mother Teresa or whatever that may be for you, and you have those things in the back of your mind that's telling you that you cannot do that, or your agenda should be, for example, a big shot lawyer, or for example, you need to do what society tells you to do, you won't get to becoming very clear on what that dream is. And I'm going to hand it now over to Maike, who's going to be sharing with you something that we put together to kind of help you become more clear and also to help you with the approach you're going to be going through.
Thank you, Yasmin. Yeah, the whole talk about objectives and what you want to be and who you want to be in 2013 is a really great initiative at the beginning of the year. But maybe like some of you know, when you go through the year, you end like you kind of come to March, April, June or something. You look back, to January and you think, actually, I had some great ideas at the beginning of the year, but I actually didn't follow through. So the calling, I think, that we have, our team has, is actually we've created this program that will not allow you to walk away from your dream. In fact, it'll put a date on it and it will convert the dream into an objective, into reality. So we do that in 3 simple steps. The first step, the first phase, let's put it that way, is actually a phase where we're going to work on you becoming and getting clear on what you actually want. Because sometimes we have a notion of what we want, but we don't really know what the exact thing is that we want, And that objective that you might have can be professional or could be personal. We're going to have a great team, of business coaches and also well-being coaches and psychologists that will look after you in the first phase and give you individual one-to-one coaching sessions over the phone or over Skype in order for you to really get clear and focused and have that objective that you would like to work on in the second phase. So in the second phase, we are actually going to get together. Not virtually, we're going to get together outside of Madrid in a beautiful space in a rural house in the countryside, and we're going to come together as a group of women and actually work together, because sometimes it's so difficult to do stuff on your own, like you're there with your objective and your dreams, but you kind of feel like you have to fight life all on your own. So this is why we wanted to create this community. In fact, it's kind of like a cross-cultural tribe, women coming together from all over Europe with one objective in mind, and that is to fulfill their dream, to make a change, to make something happen this year in 2013. So we'll get together for 3 fantastic days in sunny Spain with fantastic Spanish food and we'll work on your objective. So we're going to be working on a roadmap. We're going to have an art jam too. We're going to have yoga classes, nature walks. We're going to work on you as an individual and you as a group, to really sustain that change and give you all the tools we can for you to make the change. So the last step and the last phase is actually to get the results. Because what would it be if you just came to Spain, had a really nice retreat, really nice holiday, and then you walk back into your life and you think, oh, that was nice, but actually nothing has changed. So we won't leave you there. We're actually going to give you, in the retreat, you're going to get an accountability partner that will help you through the next few months after the retreat. And obviously, you're going to have 2 more individual sessions with us, with the coaches and psychologists, in order to make sure that you can implement your objectives and that you can make the change really happen in your life once you're back home. So the whole package is actually, I'm just going to repeat, it's 3 individual virtual sessions over Skype with any of the 4 people who are the coaches or psychologists who have put this program together, and then 3 days in Madrid. So we're just going to have a little look at who we actually are. The voices you're listening to are mine. I'm Maike and Yasmin, who talked earlier. So as we said before, I'm a health and well-being coach, but we also have 2 more people on board, Kelly and Teresa. So Kelly is from China and Venezuela, and her specialty is about business coaching, and particularly finance coaching. So she's got great results in companies and she helps people actually to look after their finances and make the change happen on a business level. And then Teresa, who's from Portugal, is a psychologist and she is specialized in family psychology actually, so completely different side again. So we do look after you not only when it comes to professional life but also when it comes to your personal life, to create the work-life balance that's right for you. And then obviously there's Yasmin, who introduced herself earlier, who's a business and career coach from Egypt and Singapore. So let's have a look at the next slide. By joining this retreat, we will give you a fantastic package. In fact, you'll get a hard copy of a toolkit, which is going to be your guidance that you can take away. This is like your takeaway gift. So you don't only show up in Madrid and experience the experiential workshop that we offer you, you also will have something to take away with. So, and then also in the retreat, we'll particularly create your life roadmap. That's going to be, in fact, quite a long session to work on what you actually want from life and what are the steps that you need to take in order to make the change happen. That includes breaking down your limiting beliefs, because as we mentioned before, one of those blocks, the roadblocks, can be limiting beliefs. Believing that, you know, you can't do it, you're not worth it, you know, why me? You know, that's a great idea, but, you know, I can't do it. So all these beliefs, let's look at them, you know, let's see how other women feel about it. Let's use the spirit of the community and connect to one another in order to help each other grow. And that's the last big USP that we have for you. The big gift of this retreat is actually the networking and building your tribe. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity to connect to like-minded women from all over Europe, from all different nations, cultures, who have one thing in common. They want to make a change this year. They want to stop moaning and just put it into practice and do that together with a fantastic group of international women. So the package also includes, if we look at the next slide, there we go, sometimes. It's just to give you the details. Some of you may have seen that actually already on the webpage, on Facebook, on the emails that we've sent, but we just want to make clear what's actually included, because it's a fantastic package. As I said before, there are 3 intense sessions, one-to-one, that you have before the retreat and after the retreat, right? So 3 one-hour personalized coaching sessions. And you have 3 days in Madrid to work on different workshops, the art jam, as I mentioned, the yoga classes, the nature walks, to work on your well-being, on your balance, and on your goals. You get the Be Woman Toolkit as a takeaway, and you get the access to this exclusive and diverse network of women. So we've actually detailed the prices here. You know, if we were to look just as the retreat in itself, that weekend would cost you normally just 600 euros. The Be Woman Toolkit has actually a value of 150 euros. The one-to-one coaching sessions, they have a value each, well, in total, of 250 euros. And connecting to this fantastic cross-cultural networking community, obviously, is priceless. But we also look after your service. So the only thing you need to do is actually book a ticket now with any kind of cheap airline that you'd like. You know, under 100 euros, you can get to Madrid. And once you get to Madrid, we actually look after you. We transport you to and from Madrid. So we pick you up and we drop you off from Madrid. We give you the accommodation, obviously, in the outside of Madrid, which includes all the meals at the venue, you know, the lodging, most of the activities are actually included, and that has a value of 200 euros. So in fact, we're looking at a package that we're offering, the one-to-one coaching sessions online plus the retreat in Madrid, of 1,200 euros, that we have cut down to 600 euros already, because this is the first time we're running it, and we want it to be a success. We want to have fun. We want to get loads of people on board and just see what we can do for you. So as you see here, we have an early bird. So the first 10 people who sign up, they get a special discount. We sell it for 450 euros. Now that, if you ask me, that's a bargain. I've done a lot of retreats, and actually this is really cheap. You know, you get the individual coaching sessions, you get the retreat, you get the whole food, the transport. So this is a one and only offer. I think it's fantastic. So make sure, if you are interested, that you book your flight as soon as possible, and then really make the payment before the 11th of February. This is our early bird deadline. So we really want to create a community here. So what we're looking for, as you see, we have only 30 places available, and that also means we're looking for quite a small group, right? And we want it to be intimate. So ask your friends to come along. You know, if you have any friends, it doesn't matter if they're from your same town, city, country, wherever, just ask them to come along and help you on that journey as well, because this retreat is all about helping one another to create that cross-cultural tribe that can actually turn your dream into reality. So after talking that much, I'm actually going to hand over back to Yasmin, who will open up the Q&A session and tell you how to actually book if you wanted to.
All right, thank you, Maggie, for the great explanation. Yeah, so if you're interested, there's actually just simple steps. You can go to the link bewomanretreat.eventbrite.com and you can fill out a form and we can get started. So we're opening up the floor to question and answers. And if you want, you can either put your hand up and we can have you ask the question yourself, or if you feel a bit uncomfortable, you can type the question in the question box and we'll also respond to that as well. Okay. 1 second. Hi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
So what's your question, Dina?
Actually, I think I had my hand up from before,
Ah, okay. All right.
but I actually wanted to ask if there's a possibility that you do this conference at another time, or if you're planning on doing it in the future again.
We're hopefully planning on doing it again. But for us now, it's just the first time is to do and to make sure that we have a really, strong program. But the difference is when you do it again next time, it won't be the same price because
Yeah.
this time is really just a testing ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Welcome. Hi, Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Claudia, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right. How are you doing? Claudia, I just heard you say yes, and then I couldn't hear you anymore.
Yeah,
Okay,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So, what's the question you have for us, Claudia?
No. I just had it from the testing of the tool. No, I don't have questions now.
All right, okay. All right. Let me also ask. Let me just mute you. Um, Hi, Freddie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, but I don't have a question. So
Okay.
my hand, uh, it seems to have gone up again somehow. So I'd actually put it down. So I'm going to put it down, okay?
All
I didn't
right.
have a
Okay.
question. I think, remember you told us all to keep our hands up? Just so you told us all to keep our hands up. So that's why we probably all have our hands up. But I'm going to put mine down.
It went up by itself a couple of seconds ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, because I tried to put it down. Love you.
Yeah, you too. All right. If there's any questions, oh, there's a question in the. All right. 1 second. Let me unmute. Hi, honey.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can all hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I do have a question. It's not a mistake. So I wanted to ask for the retreat that will be in Madrid. Will it all be group activities, or are they like individual sessions that we'll get to like work with you guys individually, or group?
Well, a lot of it is group, but we also have space to work one-on-one as well during the program while we're together in the retreat.
Okay, so it's a mix of both, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, someone actually asked me, independent of today, one question that was about the pickup and the drop-off. So maybe I just want to share that with you. The idea is, if you were interested and needed to book a flight, that we're actually picking up people from Madrid on Friday at 3 o'clock, and then drop them off back on Sunday early evening. So there's still an option if you wanted to extend your holiday, let's say in Madrid, that we could, either drop you off on Sunday or you could stay on, and there are different possibilities, just as an add-on in case someone was interested.
All right. So I got another question in the chat button, and the question was with regards to how does the accountability structure work for the program? And accountability basically is at the program, you find a partner that you feel comfortable with, and you work one-on-one every week, just to make sure that you're accountable for the goals that you set. So at the retreat, you actually have a roadmap of a plan that you want to be doing, and you walk away and you share that with your partner, and then every week you work with them to say, okay, my goal for this week was to do 1, 2, and 3. And usually it's much more productive, because if they're not your friend, like a good friend immediately, what happens is you feel a bit like, well, I have to do that. Like, I'm doing that. She's also working on her goal. I have to also work on it as well. All right. So I have also your hand up again, Claudia. Was that a mistake, or was that Claudia?
No, no. Yeah, no, I don't know. The thing keeps coming up. I don't know why, but I don't have questions. Thank you, sorry.
The thing wants you to ask the question. It's like 3 times already.
Yeah, but I don't have questions. Thank you.
All right. Welcome. All right. If there's any other questions, you can also contact us by email. Actually, our thing is right here. You can contact us by email, or you can contact us through the Facebook group or whatever. If you have any questions, we can also answer like that through that. What we'll be doing is we'll be sending you a worksheet of the 4 roadblocks, and to get you to sit down and to actually, if you're interested, to write down what's stopping you from doing what you want to do. And for us, it's really important, because we really want you to actually achieve what you want to be doing and what you're planning on doing for this year.